I'm not sure. Not sure what I'm gonna do. Not exactly a hot take. I just have an opinion. He's stalking me. Flip. Good word. Here's some information. Do with that what you will. Sticky, gooey, icky time. Would more tenderness help? Probably. That's my favorite word. Well, that's not very clarifying, is it? Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome or welcome back to Tarot Magpie. I hope you're doing all kinds of good. Today's video is going to be just kind of a play session with an oracle deck. So this is the Prairie Majesty Oracle, which I got recently in the Hay House sale. It's been on my radar for a little bit, and I'm just going to have a play. I'm going to pair it with some decks. I'm going to try using it to make some tarot spreads. So that's what's happening. If that sounds interesting, please do stick around. This is an Oracle Diaries installment. I've got a few videos under that little like series name where I'm getting to grips with Oracle decks and how I want to be using them in my collection. So that's what we're doing. All right, so this is, like I said, the Prairie Majesty Oracle by Cara Simons and art by Amy Putney Koenig. And this is mass market by Hay House. I believe this was indie before it was mass market, but I could be wrong. 52 cards, guidebook. This is really pretty as well. It's an animal deck. Got coyote, dragonfly from the kind of prairie environment. It looks like she lives or lived in South Dakota, and the illustrator is from Central Iowa. So that's the kind of environment that they're from, and I think these are all animals that are either native to or living in that ecosystem. And this is an animal connection, spiritual guide, energy kind of deck. But the reason that I really have had my eye on this is because it's got these questions as well as keywords. And if you know anything about me, you know that I like something that's got a little bit more than just a keyword in an oracle deck. All right, so this deck is split into suits, which I think are kind of according to the color of the title at the bottom. 48 cards are different types of actions, which have a question, open-ended question that offers and anchors a fresh perspective. And then the keyword is a verb reminiscent of something that this being does in the wild. So it's either an animal, a plant, or an elemental being. And then there are also 4 celestial cards. Let me see if I can find. So as well as the category cards, there are these celestial cards. And these suggest the movement of the energy flow in a spread. That's quite cool. Mix them in with the rest or pull one specifically for an extra layer of meaning. And there are keyword suggestions for those, but it's just the art on the card itself. Indicate movement of energy. I like these keywords, you know. These lists of keywords really remind me of the Astrology for Yourself workbook, which I've been working through. And specifically the yin and yang or masculine feminine way of looking at the signs. Just interesting. So I might dig that out later, and that would just be an interesting point of comparison. But for the moment, I think I'm just going to flip through the cards and maybe do because they've got suits, I might do a yes, no, maybe, and see which suits I like the most. So these are our celestial cards. So we've got the sun and the moon are kind of what is traditionally well, I don't know if traditionally is the word, but what is typically masculine, feminine energies, which I don't know how I feel about that phrasing, but that's what's commonly used. So that's what we're working with for the minute. So external, internal, and then sky is expansive, freeing, big picture, blank slate, very airy, unsurprisingly. And then the star is connections, support, ancestors, guides. Okay, interesting. Right, I'm going to yes, no, maybe through the suit. So this is very much like a second impressions kind of video because I have flipped through this, but I haven't really used it yet. Hold. What riches do I carry within with prairie soil? I love that. Endure, elk, where is my strength? I can already tell that the plant ones are going to be more meaningful to me than the animal ones. That's fine. I'm neutral on this one. I'm also noticing we've got these, there's some alchemical symbols, this is air, earth, water. I don't know if that means anything or if they are just decorative. Clear is a really good keyword. What kind of release would protect clarity in my space? I enjoy that. with the striped skunk, and I like this image with the oh, what's this called? Bell jar thing. Okay, heel with purple cornflower. What is mending? That's really interesting because I instinctively read that like it's asking me to define mending. And I realize it's probably asking, like, what in your life is mending? But I think it's cool that you can take that in a couple different directions. Compass plant. Which course takes me home with map? I like how it's a mix of illustration, and then this is a photo of a like sunsetty sky in the background. Like it's a bit mixed media, but it's also really simple. Whereas a lot of collage mixed media stuff gets quite messy and detaily, and which is great and is one of the reasons I love it. But I like that this is a bit of a different use of that art style. I'm not in love with this. Can't articulate why, but I feel like this opens up multiple questions, like what does home mean? And that in itself could be really cool to work with. But this is less, I don't know, it's almost too open-ended. Bison bee. How can I know myself as absolute? Honeybee. This is beautiful. Honeybee with sweeten and what is mine to share. That I really like. Yeah. Because I have a little bit more of because like honeybees, I know what they're like. They live where I live. Bison, not so much. So I kind of have no personal associations with the bison. So I really like this question, and I like this verb. But this kind of has an extra level to it because I also have an idea of what honeybees are like, and I have experiences with honeybees, so it just adds a little bit more depth to it. I would really love to come across a deck like this that's like animal oracle, but is specifically British Isles, and that has things like questions, because I know there's at least one that I know of that's just imagery and like the name of the creature, which is great, but it's not what I'm looking for. So if anyone knows of like a British Isles deck that has these like animals, plants, and then something like this with these cool questions or cool keywords, please let me know. Okay, strut, what a good word. With the killdeer, am I carrying myself with love? Instinctively, I like this one a little bit less, and I don't know why. This is going to be a really interesting pile to revisit. This might actually be the most interesting pile to revisit. What energizes me with play and the coyote. What energizes me? I like that. That's fine. What is next in my becoming with dragonfly and turn? I really like that. Turn is a good keyword for that because you can turn into, you can turn around. It could be like a swerve, like you're just making a change, like a shift. It could be there's like metamorphosis kind of turning. That's cool. Okay, crack is a good word. What do I know without knowing why or how? Walnut tree, crack. I like that. Red-tailed hawk with dive and what is ready for action. This is just less interesting and unique as questions and keywords go. So there's nothing wrong with it, but it's fine. Grasshopper with jump and where am I ready to leap forward? Interesting, because these feel similar, dive and jump, but then imagery wise they're going in opposite directions, and like you're swooping down, you're diving. Maybe you've been waiting and now's the moment to dive. Then where am I ready to leap forward, rather than what is ready for action? So this is more like choosing a direction, whereas this is making the move that you've been waiting for. That's cool. I like that. I like when a deck has similar but different keywords or questions or phrases in an oracle deck, because I really like getting into the nuances of it. I find that really interesting. It's one of the reasons I love the Reclaim Oracle, which is nowhere to be found, but it's the feelings deck and it's got a lot of similar but different keywords, and I really enjoy that. Okay, white-tailed deer with trust and am I honoring my knowing? What felt similar to that? This one. And they're both pink, and then these were similar and they're both yellow. Am I honoring my knowing? And then what do I know without knowing why or how? So these could be interesting together, which I expect will be true of everything that's in the same suit. But like, what is my knowledge? Am I honoring it? I like this one more than this one though. Dabble is a good word. Mallard, we do have those. What would help me feel safe in opening up? With dabble and the mallard. I like that. I like that a lot. It feels playful, and there was another play. This was about energizing, and this is about safety, so that's interesting. How can I go higher with the bobcat and climb? What am I listening for? Great horned owl, and hear. What am I listening for? That's almost like what am I waiting for, but it has feels like it's got a different emotion behind it. Mountain lion. Is my pursuit both honorable and focused? With stork. Ooh, okay, so my brain is like, hey, this is two questions. This is two questions, babes. Uh, and so that would be interesting to like use as a like tarot spread question almost. Is my pursuit both honorable and focused? Because it could be one or the other, it could be neither. Do you need it to be both of those things? Interesting. That one's good. There's a lot to chew on there. Meadowlark, protect. How can I safeguard what is sacred to me? That's a very good question we should all be asking, right? Prairie dog, dig. What do I want to carve out space for in my life? And I feel like these feel like they could go together. How can I safeguard what is sacred to me? What do I want to carve out space for? Not necessarily what's sacred to you, but I think they're questions worth asking in tandem. I get the feeling this will be a really fun deck to just pull cards at random to create a spread, because it does seem like they would mesh really well. Like I feel like this has been thought through. Okay, what is always mine with Carrie and the box turtle? Again, ooh, these are good questions. I really like that. I love a butterfly and milkweed. Where do I give and receive with match? So again, I'm like, this is two questions in one. Or to explore it, you could ask two questions in one. It's like, okay, where do I give and where do I receive? And am I matching that energy? Is this a what goes up must come down? Is this about balance and reciprocity and give and take? Or is it just about being in the world and giving and sharing and putting your energy into things and getting energized from other things? Like, and then we've got the butterfly and the milkweed. So it's two things in this card. Also, this is a different font and that is bothering me. But I think it needs to come down. I really like that. All right, Luna Moth, radiate. How am I the light in the darkness? It's fine. Badger, defend. Am I fully claiming my authority? Ooh, with defend, the idea of defending authority, claiming and defending your authority. What are you using your authority to defend? What am I cleaning up or converting with digest and the turkey vulture? I'm obsessed with this. Right now, the astrology is nuts, right? I think this is going to go up in a couple of days, so this is fairly timely. The astrology is nuts right now. There's a lot of digesting happening astrologically. It's wild. Also, I'm low-key being stalked by death in the tarot. So the vulture as like a carrion bird, this feels pertinent. This feels very pertinent. I'm also, as we enter Virgo season, today is the first day of Virgo season. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Today is the first day of Virgo season, so I am in my rising sign. So I've been in my 12th house sign, like Leo is my 12th house, so it's all a bit kind of heavy. And oh, this feels pertinent. Okay, interesting that I've just made that connection, because I have been being stalked by death, and I am just realizing we've been in my 12th house zodiac season. So moving on, black-footed ferret with takeover, and is it time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in my life? Bloody love a structure, as you well know, so I'm inclined to love this card. Is it time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in my life? What a good question. I love this. And then takeover or takeover. That could be one word, it could be two. Again, like lots to play with. This is such a good deck. I say I haven't read with it yet, but you know, I love that though. That's good. What gift awaits? Glitter. I love this one because glitter's a word. Like, we're sparkly today. We're real sparkly. What gift awaits with the cottonwood? Ooh, that's nice. This is beautiful. I really like this ones with the photographs in the background. Prairie smoke. Liberate, and what reminds me I'm free. I'm really interested to see what they've got to say about this plant in the guidebook, because like I say, this again, not one that I'm familiar with, and I like tying those connections together. Okay, is this a Dixicel? I've never come across this bird. Am I singing my song? I like how my has been emphasized there with warble, which is a fun word, let's be real. Am I singing my song? And then the sun, and thinking of the sun in tarot and about how the sun is like illuminating and being seen and freedom to really be yourself. Am I singing my song? I like that. Ladybug. What if everything is already working out with charm? Oh, that's lovely. When I say I like the occasional feel-good, good vibes deck, It's this kind of question that I like. The like, what if everything is already working out? Because I think answering that question is much more productive than just reading something that says like, the universe has got your back or whatever. What if everything is already working out? Did you think about that? Big blue stem, how can I be of service? With shelter, I love the idea of service and shelter being paired, because I think service, when we think of being of service, it is an action. And then shelter, I immediately think of shelter as something more passive, but then to shelter, like shelter as a verb, that's really interesting. That's a lot of that I think we could spend a lot of time with. Oh, this is beautiful. The river. Am I receiving peace? Soothe. Am I receiving peace? I love the choice of words in this deck. The great blue heron. What does standing still reveal? With reflect. Again, I think these would be really good to pair because we're stood in the still water. What is standing still? What does standing still reveal? And then here we've got the moving water and like, what is the river bringing to you? Am I receiving peace? But then on the flip side, what does standing still reveal? Those are both really good. I like those. Notice with the crow. What can I learn from observation? Always worth asking. Stink bug. I don't think, are they called something else in the UK or do we not have them? I don't think I've ever come across a stink bug in the UK, but we might call them something different. So stink bug, flip, good word. How does the situation look and feel from a different view? A shifting of perspective. I love that. Prairie mound ant, work and what is mine for the doing? What is mine for the doing? I like that. It's a very proactive question. And like work as a verb, as in what are you doing? What are you actively participating in? What are you putting your energy into? Instead of just like having to work or going to work, or the way that under capitalism, work just means like, how do you get your money and essential resources to live? But like, no, like what work are you doing? What change are you making in the world? It's good. Right, what am I integrating? That's a good question with the beaver and build. I definitely want to read up on this because I know a bit about beavers. I don't know loads about beavers. And I feel like I want to read up a little bit in the guidebook about how exactly beavers do build their dams and how that ties in with this word of integrating, because I think it feels like it's a really purposeful choice. I just don't have the information to quite connect the dots. And I think learning a little bit about the beaver would be really interesting for that. So I like that. Dear mouse, nest. Would more tenderness help? Oh, that question. Would more tenderness help? Probably. I don't know what you're asking of this card, but probably. That's beautiful. Wildfire. Ooh, okay. What is ready to go so I can grow? With burn. Eastern tiger swallowtail. We know how I feel about a butterfly. What am I opening into? And emerge. Okay, so not exactly a hot take. I just have an opinion. I love the word metamorphosis. I love to see metamorphosis as a keyword in an oracle. I've got several metamorphosis cards, so I like emerge and opening into. I like that a lot. What enchants me? With delight and a wild bergamot. What role is mothering energy playing in my life? Eastern cottontail with nurture. Again, you could take this as you, the querent. What role is mothering energy how am I mothering other people? How am I exhibiting that energy? Or how am I receiving that energy? And how is that impacting my life? Because again, we've emphasized the my life. So how is either giving or receiving that energy impacting my life? I like the way this has been phrased. The wind. How can I deepen trust that my intuition knows the way? This is a question I am asking myself constantly with blow. I like that question. Bald eagle with soar. Am I ready to be seen? It's fine. Am I ready to be seen? Again, it feels like maybe it's smidge simplistic, or not simplistic, just like this is not a new and unique question. I probably have this exact question in another oracle deck. So I'm like, it's not that I don't like it. I'm just like, I wouldn't miss it from the deck, you know? All right. Prairie kingsnake with shed. And how can I know myself as bigger than any fear? That's good. How can I know myself as bigger than any fear? We have the 13-lined ground squirrel with remember and what eternal knowing can I access in human form? So with the keyword remember, I'm feeling like this is ancestral or like inherited generational wisdom is maybe what this is getting at. And then maybe if you if you know, somebody's personal gnosis includes maybe past lives or something like that, that could be something interesting to explore there. The earthworm, do I accept myself without judgment? With breathe. Something about this question rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know what it is. Because it's either a yes/no answer. Do I accept myself without judgment? You can only really answer that with a yes or a no, and that is less open-ended. So, the leopard frog. Am I flowing through metamorphosis? That's my favorite word. It came up, okay, with swim. Am I flowing through metamorphosis? Which is interesting because metamorphosis, sticky, gooey, icky time. It's not a flowing kind of time. Am I flowing through metamorphosis? Should you be flowing through metamorphosis? Interesting. Okay, so far and away, there were 4 cards that I wasn't a huge fan of. And this one, do I accept myself without judgment? Because that's a bit of a yes, no. And I just don't, this doesn't feel, the vibes are off for me personally. Again, you know, your mind may vary. Am I ready to be seen? This again just feels a little bit, I wouldn't miss it from the deck, like I said. Am I carrying myself with love? Again, it's like a bit, I don't want to say generic because that sounds like an insult, but I just mean it doesn't feel particularly special or unique to this deck, which course takes me home. Why did I think I didn't like this card? See, I felt like this was almost too open-ended, but actually having revisited it, I think it's fine. So there's 3 cards that I wasn't a huge fan of. And then these were cards that I liked. And then these were cards that I loved. We're about equal. So out of the ones I disliked, I had 1 blue and 2 yellow. So the yellow is the do cards with the bald eagle and the killdeer. And then the blue is the breathe. Sorry, the blue is the feel. We've got do, know, feel, and claim. And then, of course, the celestial cards. So here, these are the ones I really liked. Green, blue, pink, yellow. Okay, I feel like the pink, the green really won that. The green is the biggest pile, and then the pink, and then I had 3 or 4 for each of the blue and the yellow, which were the colors that came up in this pile. So I think it's safe to say the green is my favorite, and the green is claim, and then the pink is no. Okay, do we have an introduction of some kind? What are the claim cards about? Okay, the green claim cards inspire taking back your power by activating and wielding self-authority. Okay, I'm going to leave these celestial cards out. I'm going to shuffle and I'm going to pull a card. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Okay, it's chipping like crazy already, but you know, I got this for like a tenner because it was in the sale, so I'm not mad about it. Jump. Or am I ready to leap forward? So this is yellow. I'm going to have to color code the edges of this book. Okay, the yellow do cards inspire active undertaking, whether internal or external, and offer suggestions for how. So the grasshopper, right. So they are alphabetical within their section, and it looks like it's 2 pages for each card. We experience different seasons and chapters. Okay, no, before I read it, I'm gonna meditate on the card a moment. I'm going to meditate on the card. I'm going to maybe pull some tarot, and I'm going to read the guidebook. Where am I ready to leap forward? Yeah, so this felt like it's about choosing a direction. Like with this where, I'm really leaning into that. Like, where am I ready to leap forward? It's almost about choosing the direction and making the plan more than the action itself. Like the important thing I feel is to jump. The important thing is to start, and then you can course correct as you go. So it's choosing an action, making a plan. You can always adjust the plan later. I've pulled out my Animal Apothecary because this is the deck in my collection that feels like it has like similar vibes, and this is also an animal deck. And I kind of want to pull a second card to go alongside this, and then maybe pull some tarot, maybe do a bit of that like, oh, what is it that Kellyanne Maddox calls it? The like sacred patchwork. I love this card. The sacred patchwork spread thing. Just like pull a bunch of cards, connect the dots, maybe do that like mind map way of kind of taking notes on readings that I've been doing recently. The illusion. Well, that's not very clarifying, is it? Maybe it's the illusion that there is a right answer, because you know what I was saying about direction, and then we've got this spear that's very directed. So maybe the illusion is that there is a direction, and the important thing is just to take the jump. Not worry so much about where precisely you're going, because it's not the only move you're ever going to make. You know, you're going to keep making decisions and keep jumping forwards. Okay, I'm gonna grab some tarot decks and do a bit of like a, I guess almost a playing with pairs, but on the go, like in the spread. So who do I think would work well here? Okay, so I pulled out some decks that feel like they want to work with these two cards. So we've got the Morgan Greer, because this is a straight to the point, you know, this feels like it would give a very direct answer to this first question in particular. The Heart and Hands just felt right. It felt, again, like it's quite straightforward. Also, the art style massively played into this. The Bonefire, I don't know, this is about illusions, and the Bonefire is quite, it's got like a surreal styling to it, so that felt right, and kind of similar with the Tarot del Fuego, and also artistically, I think they're going to sing. So I'm going to do some shuffling, I'm going to pull some cards, I'm going to come back to you. Right, Death is sitting on the bottom of the deck. What did I tell you? He's stalking me. I only read jumpers if one card jumps out and it lands face up. I'm too clumsy a shuffler to read everything that jumps out. Shall we actually get this in frame? Would that be fun? All right, so with the Knight of Pentacles, that's interesting. He's not one to leap. No way. That's the Knight of Pentacles again. No way, that's cool. The Three of Wands, this was reversed, but I don't read reversals in a traditional way. And finally, with the Bonefire, we have the Page of Wands. Okay, so that's interesting. So we've got two Knight of Pentacles and then a Three of Wands and a Page of Wands. So courtsy, very courtsy. This is especially interesting. So the two Knights of Pentacles and the Three of Wands, right? They've started making moves. I always think of, obviously, the Three of Wands as someone who's sent out their ideas, put their plans into motion and are kind of waiting for something to happen. And then the Knight of Pentacles is somebody, I always think of the Knight of Pentacles who's somebody who is on their course. They're stubborn in the sense that they will pursue this goal whether or not it's still a good idea. They said they were going to do the thing. They are moving doggedly toward that thing. There's no detours, there's no change of plans. Doesn't matter if something more interesting comes up. They're doing what they set out to do, which can be a blessing and a curse, as with any tarot card. So cool that we pulled that twice. So that's like interesting. These three cards are all kind of like almost not very dynamic, which is a really weird thing to say about the fire suit and then the knights. Like it almost doesn't feel very dynamic. It's not shifting in the plan. It's like more worried about just executing, which is so at odds with what I said about this card. Like instinctively what I get from this card is like it's choosing a direction, but you're still in like the early stages. And then the Page of Wands is still in the early stages. The Page of Wands has ideas and has inspiration and is kind of running around wanting to try things and just doesn't necessarily have the follow through that we see in the rest of the cards. And then the illusion here. So maybe the illusion was my initial assessment of the card. Maybe that was just wrong. And these cards are showing up to tell me like, no, no, you leap and then you keep leaping in that direction. Okay, I want to read the guidebook about the grasshopper now. When grasshopper shows up, there's a good chance you're poised to spring ahead in some way. Reflect back on your last chapter. What challenges have you recently faced? As you synthesize recent experiences, imagine the derived wisdom coiling into springs. Allow this to propel you forward by leaps and bounds. You may want to seek out opportunities to collaborate with like-minded individuals. How can you work together to measurably change structures and institutions? Ooh, okay, first of all, I really like how open-ended this guidebook is. Like, it has got some, this is what this card means, but it's also just like, here's some information. Do with that what you will. Okay, so different seasons and chapters. So this grasshopper card is about different seasons and chapters and kind of moving from one to the other is kind of the overall vibe that I'm getting. Also interesting what this said about collaboration, because these are all solitary cards. And the illusion. This feels so, everything else feels kind of pretty practical. Page of Wands maybe not so much, but you know, the Knight of Pentacles is quite practical, I feel. Three of Wands almost. It's that like, it's like a project management kind of stage of things almost, is the Three of Wands. And then the Page of Wands is much more, more playful, more interested, less committed, less follow through. It's really quite at odds with the I feel, with the Knight of Pentacles. The illusion number 13. We see a harpoon searching the sea for a dangerous shark that appears only in your mind's eye. Your current fear, worry, or insecurity is all an illusion. You tricked yourself into hunting for a thing that doesn't even exist. Ooh, okay, that's interesting with what I was saying about the Knight of Pentacles. Like, they are in pursuit of what they have decided they're going to do, for better or worse. Like, they've made the decision, they're going for it. Maybe sometimes we're hunting for something, we're following something that doesn't exist or that just doesn't serve us. So this is about fear, is what this card is designed to be about, this illusion card. The illusion is powerful, it colors every aspect of your reality. You cannot always avoid being caught in it, but you can recognize when you're in it. This is the most important part of seeing clearly. You must first understand that you are in an illusion before you can escape it. So maybe we're leaping forward to escape the illusion. Interesting. Okay, so I'm doing my little mind map thing. And something that's kind of striking me a bit about the Three of Wands is that typically, this is interesting to me. So typically I see that the Two of Wands is preparing to expand, preparing to make moves. And then the Three of Wands has made those initial moves. There's now kind of waiting for the next thing. So they're all kind of not super active, or not. No, that's not true. It's not that they're not really active. It's that, like, the Knights are all direction, all plodding towards the goal, but it's kind of slow and steady, and a slow and steady movement is not a leap forwards. The Knight of Pentacles is sturdy, they're dependable, but they are kind of plodding along, and they'll get there when they get there, and they will not be deterred from their path. And then the Three of Wands has, like, made moves, but is kind of almost in waiting mode, is how I tend to read the Three of Wands. And then this artwork is quite static in itself, like we're standing, we've got our finger on a tower. It's interesting. It's like we've planted a seed. Maybe this is like a kind of, I'm getting like a kind of home vibe with the hand on the tower and the, like, the growing something. It feels a bit like internal. So not home as in a place, but home as in a stability. It's being developed, and like 3 is a very stable structure. Like a pyramid is a very stable structure. A 3-legged stool is a very stable structure. So there's like some stability. So maybe we're a little bit scared to expand. Maybe that's the fear, maybe that's the illusion. And then the Page of Wands is like, it feels like a bit of a wild card here, because the Page of Wands is, as with all pages, curious and interested and running around and jumping from thing to thing, but not necessarily with a lot of commitment or follow through, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. Like, we don't have to commit to everything. We don't have to make a business out of every hobby. We can try things, and that's fine, and that's good. And that energy is necessary. And maybe that's what's needed to kind of shake up this pattern a little bit. And interestingly, also, we've got the Knight of Pentacles is the fire element of the court. So it's fire of earth. And then the Page of Wands is earth of fire, and we've got the fire here as well. So it's kind of like turning it on its head in that sense as well, almost. And like what I've written down here is that, like, the page is curiosity. The page is all movement but ungrounded, which is weird because the pages are always the earth suit or the earth element of the court. But I always think of it more as like, that's where they're coming from, not where they're going. It's the starting point. And then we've got lots of growth and lots of chaos, as we always do with the Bonefire Tarot. So I do kind of feel, where am I ready to leap forwards? Literally fucking anywhere. Which is interesting, because that's what I said from this card. That was kind of the vibe I got from this card in the first place. So maybe this is all confirmation bias. I would be really interested to like hear what anyone else thinks of this little spread. Maybe the key is just to move a little bit faster, or do something a little bit unexpected. And the illusion of, with this planning, with the kind of planning energy and that I get from the Three of Wands and the Knights of Pentacles, the illusion is that sticking to the plan is the only thing you can do, and it's almost kind of sunk cost fallacy. It's like, well, I've got this far, I've got to see it through, and like, yes, maybe you don't, but yeah, keep going. But it doesn't have to be the only thing you're doing. It doesn't mean you can't introduce something new. It doesn't mean you can't try something a little bit different, see if it works out. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Okay, so I've played. I wanted to play with some pairs, but I feel like this has been quite a long one, and I like these. I think these are all pretty good pairings. I wanted to do Oracle and Oracle. And I think the black and white with these chunky black borders, I think this is a really good pair, actually. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. And let me pull some more. I do just want to have a bit more of a play and see if I could make some spreads. Like, say I wanted to do like a 3-card spread. Just pull these as like prompt questions. Am I ready to be seen? Do I accept myself without judgment? How am I the light in darkness? I'm not shuffling this properly, obviously, but am I ready to be seen? We've got the Magician. Do I accept myself without judgment? Got the Justice. You can't make this shit up. And how am I the light in darkness? With the 3 of Wands again from a different deck. Okay, I really do like these decks together. I think they work really well. Like, you could do like a little 3-card spread. You could definitely, like, some of them, where have I put the cards? Some of them felt like they were multiple questions in one. Like, here, is my pursuit both honorable and focused? And I feel like personally, I want to go, okay, well, is my pursuit honorable? Is it focused? Why does it matter that it's both? Are we honorable? We've got the Wheel of Fortune, maybe, maybe not. I feel like no, instinctively. Is it focused? With the Fool, also not. I'm being stalked by death. And then why does it matter that it's both? It doesn't. Okay, I'm obviously being a little bit flippant at this point, but right, I think I'm done for now. I'm done for this video because I'm tired and it's long. But this, I'm so pleased I have this deck. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so much fun to play with. I think it's going to be really cool pairing this. I think I'm calling it now. This is going to become a bit of a workhorse oracle deck. The Animal Apothecary, very much a workhorse oracle deck for me. Do you know what? Hay House, kind of killing it. Kind of love a lot of Hay House decks, which surprises me. Definitely oracle decks more so than tarot decks, but like, they published The Fifth Spirit. They published Radical Tarot, which is Charlie Claire Burgess's book. Published this, published The Animal Apothecary, published a lot of MJ Cullinane, which we know I love. Yeah, kind of loving Hay House as a publisher. So anywho, I'm going to say that I'm done. I'm going to leave it there with the death card. I think it's time to stop, bring this to a close. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got this deck. If you'd want to see more videos like this, just like playing with a deck. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for spending some time with me. Give me a like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.